I guess nothing is off limits lyrically when it comes to Korn, that's for sure. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Molly and in this video I'm going to be reacting to the album Life Is Peachy from the new metal band Korn. Korn is a band that I have just started my journey diving into their music. I have heard their first studio album, their debut self-titled album, and I really loved it. It had so much aggression and energy and emotion poured into it, and I thought the sound of that album was really great. So I figured I would do a reaction to Life Is Peachy, their second studio album that came out in 1996. And yeah, I'm just really curious to see what sounds they're gonna embrace on this one and what crazy stuff Korn is gonna do on Life Is Peachy. Alright, so starting off Life Is Peachy, we have track 1 called Twist. Alright, right off the bat we're getting that same energy that their debut album delivered on. Twist. These vocals, they're so growly and aggressive sounding. Twist, twist. Track 1, Twist. That was a fun little way to start that album off. Just a quick little 49-second track. I just liked the vocal delivery on that one. It had like this really raw, aggressive nature to it, but then when the whole twist part came in, it was a little different. It changed it up. And up next we have track 2 called Chi. Bye. That really reminded me of Ball Tongue, the start of that one. These verses are so interesting. They kind of have an industrial tone to them. There's all of this screeching and kind of metallic sounding instrumentation going on. We got some groovy percussion going on here. That percussion is so minimalistic. Track 2, Chi. That one was awesome. I absolutely loved the dynamics going on there, how it got so quiet with just that percussion, but then so intensely aggressive on the choruses. Just absolutely amazing back and forth on that sound. And up next we have track 3 called Lost. Why can't I decide why my feelings I hide? Yeah, a lot of you are saying Life Is Peachy kind of goes in a slightly darker direction than their debut in terms of just the tone of the instrumentals, and I'm definitely picking up on that. I just love how manic their music is. It's all over the place, but just in the best possible way. Thorn in your spine. Wait! You can't see my friend. Track 3, Lost. That one had a great seething, like I said, kind of a darker tone to it. And I just really like too how his vocals kind of go back and forth between anger, like aggression coming out and just bringing the intensity. And then on the more restrained parts, almost like just emotional and almost heartbreaking to listen to. Like when he was saying, "You were my friend" at the end of that track, there's just like a vulnerability in his voice that I am really drawn to. I just like the sound of it. All right, and we are moving right along to track 4 called Swallow. Oh, yes. What a fun start to that one. There's such an explosive delivery to the sound of a lot of these tracks. And then they balance it out with this great bass guitar. noise in the background is so fun. Track 4, Swallow. That one was really, really fun. I really liked the end of that one, just with that little, it almost sounded electronic warble going on in the background. Just really, really cool sounds and everything. And up next is track 5 called Porno Creep. That bass again, it's so good. I guess it's the nu metal style in general, but there is something kind of hip-hop-esque about the sound of Korn, especially on the second album, Life Is Peachy. All of these tracks just have such a great flow and rhythm to them. Almost like a bounciness, kind of. Track 5, Porno Creep. That was a short little 2-minute one, almost interlude-ish. Definitely an appropriate track name. There was something kind of like creepy, crawly about the sound of that track. And the bass on that track was fantastic, as well as the percussion. The percussion's really cool. It's like light and kind of airy sounding. But I'm going to move on to track 6 now, called Good God. Yeah, lyrically there's definitely still a lot of kind of similar themes as their debut album, like bottled up anger and rage kind of coming out in musical form. I always love these bridges that Korn does toward the end of their tracks, where they just quiet it down and then they build up the intensity. Just like that. That was track 6, Good God. That one brought so much intensity to it. I loved it. How he was screaming the lyrics at certain parts. Just absolutely amazing energy on that one. All right, up next is track 7 called Mr. Rogers.
We'll have something to talk about.
Such a dark, kind of seething start to that one. Those sounds are just really interesting. All of that, like, distortion.
Looking back, now I realize.
The choruses are bringing this great explosive energy, but the verses are so dark and seething. I love it. That snapping, just such an interesting rhythm to this song. The fact that he's singing about his neighbor and hating them, I'm thinking there's a connection there with the backstory about the track A.D.I.D.A.S that you all have told me about in the comments. That was track 7, Mr. Rogers. It kind of stood out from the rest of this album so far just because of how minimalistic and stripped back the verses were, but then they just brought so much intensity on the chorus. And his vocal delivery too, even though he's singing with so much anger and intensity to his voice, there is such vulnerability there too, which is really powerful. It just makes for better music, in my opinion, when it's coming from a place of rawness and truth. And I'm going to move on to track 8, K @ symbol pound asterisk % exclamation point.
Titty sucking till bald bitch with a fat Kentucky fried kung pao clips.
I guess nothing is off limits lyrically when it comes to Korn, that's for sure.
I don't know what to say, so I
I guess because every word is explicit on this song, they just made the title all the replacements for explicitives. This percussion sounds really interesting. It sounds like it's really muffled and in the background. And then the song just got clearer again. That was really funny. It almost sounded like he was washing his mouth out at the end. And then just based on the lyrical content of that track, it kind of makes sense. It kind of poking a little humor at like how expletive that whole track was. I liked how the instrumentals kind of changed up almost the volume that they were playing them at. Sometimes they sounded more muffled and in the background, and then they would get really clearer and louder all of a sudden. All right, up next is track 9 called No Place to Hide. So much explosive energy right off the bat.
I see your faces and I do not understand why. I have no place to run. Some look at the time.
I just really like how Korn, they always get this great rhythm going with their songs, and then they just totally change it up on you.
Which I like.
You see what I mean? They just totally change their songs. I love it.
I like, which I like. I have no place to run.
I like the two different sets of vocals going on here too.
Which I like.
Track 9, No Place to Hide. It was still delivering on the aggression, but it just sounded almost a little bit more polished up in a way. And just such a great flow, like a back and forth rhythm to that track. And I'm going to move on to the next track, which is track 10, Wicked. This one is featuring Chino Moreno. A lot of you have been telling me about this one in the comments. So far, Life Is Peachy is kind of reminding me of Adrenaline by Deftones a little bit. So I could see this maybe working. There is a tone to Chino's voice that I do recognize, but it's very different hearing him singing in this style. Okay, and then we have Jonathan Davis on just these awesome, growly, aggressive vocals that he does so well. I really like that instrumental. Kind of sounds like it's falling down a little bit, that guitar. Track 10, Wicked, featuring Chino Moreno from Deftones. That one was really fun. A little bit different for this album for sure, but it still fit, I thought. It kind of had a similar flow to it, and then with Jonathan Davis singing the vocals on the chorus and just bringing more of that intensity. I'm going to move on to track 11 called A.D.I.D.A.S, I think, or A.D.I.D.A.S.
So what? Let's
I feel like you can never really get comfortable listening to a Korn song. Like, they always keep you on your toes. I think in general on Life Is Peachy, they're keeping the vocals a little bit more polished sounding or clear sounding, just by a little bit. It's just like a tiny, tiny difference I'm picking up on. Track 11, A.D.I.D.A.S. I liked how just really smooth that whole track was. Lyrically, not really a whole lot going on there, pretty straightforward with the lyrics, but I just really liked the way his vocals sounded on that one. Almost more polished. They had a little bit less of that growly, intense nature to them. All right, and up next is track 12 called Lowrider. There's those bagpipes you all were telling me about. Is this Jonathan Davis singing? It sounds really different, but I know he can change his voice up a lot. That was track 12, Lowrider, a short little, like, minute-long track. Really interesting vocals on that one, super deep. It didn't even sound like Jonathan Davis, so I'm wondering if it's even him or not, or if he just, like, really changed up the sound of his voice. And I'm just gonna move right on to track 13 called Ass Itch. His vocals are just so blistering. That's like the best adjective I can come up with. Their songs are just they take you on a ride. They're so entertaining. This is interesting at the end. Track 13, Ass Itch. That one had a super interesting ending. There's definitely some industrial sounding elements on Life Is Peachy that I'm picking up on. Almost like these metallic, distorted sounds that they're throwing on from time to time. And moving on to track 14, the last song on Life Is Peachy, we have Kill You. It's interesting how he just said the lyric, bury me, and there's just like a crushing, heavy sound to this track. Never try to blame me. Okay, they just changed it up. I don't know why, I just got an image in my head of Heath Ledger's version of the Joker. Just like this demented person, like crying and laughing at the same time.
How can I?
That bass again. Alright, we're at the 5-minute mark, and it sounded like it just faded out, so I don't know if this is going to be another, like, daddy situation with their debut album, if there's going to be a hidden track at the end.
You ready, you fucking middle guy?
Okay, there is something at the end. Is this the same as the first track on this album?
Twist.
It is.
Twist. Twist.
Okay, so there was like a tiny, tiny little hidden track at the end of that. It just sounded like another version of Twist, the opening track on Life Is Peachy. Sometimes I think Jonathan Davis has his own language that he sings in because I don't know what any of those vocalizations were. And then the main track, Kill You, I just really enjoyed the tone of that one. It brought so much heavy aggression, kind of reminded me of A.D.I.D.A.S a little bit on their debut album, some similarities there. Yeah, just a great ending to Life Is Peachy, and what a ride this album was, that's for sure. Alright, so that is going to do it for my reaction to Life Is Peachy, the second studio album from the band Korn. Definitely a lot of similarities to their debut album. I think Life Is Peachy, though, does go in a slightly darker direction in terms of the sound of the instrumentals. It also sounds a little bit more, I don't want to say polished, but just more put together almost, and just kind of a more streamlined sound to it. I think the tracks Chi and Lost, tracks 2 and 3, are standouts. And weirdly, track 5, Porno Creep, I actually really enjoyed the sound of. Just that really dark, seething, sinister tone to it was awesome. And track 7, Mr. Rogers, that one was a standout too. But yeah, every track on this album I thought was great, very entertaining to listen to. And even more so now, I am just so looking forward to hearing the rest of their discography. I'll probably just keep going in order, and so that means up next will be Follow the Leader. That'll probably be my next Korn reaction. And yeah, let me know down in the comments what you think of Life Is Peachy, and as usual, thank you all so much for watching, stay tuned, and I will see you in the next video.